Hi everyone, it's Paula here. I was coming to show you why our cuts this month look a little different. Some of the items in the store you'll notice have a little bit of, it looks almost like a yellow area around them. And the reason why that is because we had been removing the protective cover on the wood that we cut. We make these ourselves, and we cover them so that then we can remove the paper and it looks a little nicer. You can see on the back of them, that's usually how it looks when you receive them. But we realized that it might be a better idea if you don't want the paper on there, then you can just go ahead and peel it off. It will take just a few seconds. It's very easy. But we realized that it might be beneficial to keep it on there for you to color them. So today I'm showing you how you can color your wood pieces that we sell in the store. Not all of them will have them because some of them are really small and we figured you probably wouldn't be painting those. Or if you did, it's just one color, so there's no need to keep the papers on them. So some of them won't have them, but these, and here I'll show you this one that I've already painted. Today's many of these will not have them. I believe these are the only 4 in the store that do have the paper covering still on them. So let me show you a few tips on how to color them. So this is again how you will receive the items with the what we call masking still on them. And let me show you some of them that I have already started to color. So I am using Distress Oxide. I feel like it covers really well. The only problem is that usually people are used to putting it on their splat mats and then you spray it with water. I don't advise doing it that way with this because you want to have, for the more vivid color, you want to go ahead and not water it down. And it also takes a few minutes for it to dry. So after you've done each color, you might want to wait a little bit, otherwise you're going to get a little contamination in your brush. So this one I've already finished, so I'm going to go ahead and peel all of it off. The way that I did this is I chose which parts I wanted to color and I removed the paper from those parts. So on this one, I have only removed the letters and then this border. So those are the only items that are gonna be colored in. And then I really suggest getting some kind of tool to just scrape it off. You don't wanna scrape too hard into it because you don't wanna remove any layers of the actual wood itself. You just wanna almost pick at it. And I usually can also just get away with using my nails. But because it's painted, I don't want to get the paint all over my hands. So you just easily remove those areas that are the parts that I hadn't originally taped. So it's easy to envision this by the parts that you want colored are the parts that you want to remove the masking off, and the parts that you do not want to color, you're leaving the masking off so that you can take them off afterwards like I'm doing now. Okay, so that one is all finished, and I love how that turned out. Of course, if you wanted to color the other areas, you can go in and do that still. And the way that I do that is, for example, on the shoes, I just went ahead, this is with pumice stone. I went ahead and plotted it on my mat, and then I used a tool and got the ink from the splat mat and then inked all of it where I had wanted the pumice stone color. And then after I was done doing that, I went in with a small brush. I use this tiny brush on all of the smaller areas. And I used chipped sapphire and just brushed along the side here with the small brush. Okay, so that's really all the tools that I've used are these brushes, the cutter tool, and a small brush. That's all I used here. So this one is done as well. Again, I've let it dry for a little while. I'm just gonna use my nail on this one because this one's pretty dry, and then I'm just gonna remove this masking. And that's most of it, but there's also these tiny little pieces in the sapphire area, so I'm just gonna lightly scrape those off. Hope you can see that well. They're just these tiny little areas. If you let it dry well enough also, you can just use your fingernail and go over those tiny areas. Okay, so that's the finished shoes. Actually, I'm sorry, I haven't removed this one area, big area here. And the little areas right in between the shoestrings. Actually, no, I colored those on this one, but I forgot to do it on this side. So I forgot to remove the masking on those originally in between the shoelaces. So what I can do now is go in and I can color them in with the brushes. Okay, let me show you a tip for the sunglasses. The sunglasses, I went ahead and I used, first, remember to use your lighter colors first if you're mixing colors a little bit. On this one, I used mustard seed and abandoned coral. And after I did that, I wanted to also do the outside of the frames, but first I just lifted the trees so I can color those in with the paintbrush. And I haven't done this side, but after I do that, then I'm gonna peel this whole area here. And I want to add some ground espresso. To the outside of the glasses. So I'm just gonna brush that on as thick or as lightly. Try not to get it into the center. Again, the area right next to the part that I'm coloring is masked still, so I will not get any color on that. But I do not want to do the center behind the palm trees because that part has already been painted. It's already colored in. And the areas again that the brush does not reach, you can use the smaller brush on. And this one I'll still have to come back and do the second set of palm trees, but otherwise it is done. I mean, I really love how this one turned out, but you can see at the top of the palm trees on this side how I got a little brown on there. I'm not gonna be too picky, but I wasn't being careful there at the beginning when I started doing the outer area. But I really love how those turned out. Okay, then for the avocado, I went ahead and I unmasked the large green area, and then I left this little area and the areas around them masked, so I'm removing those now. And then I probably will go back in and do his eyeballs as well, but I don't know, they look pretty cute just how they are. And I use a tiny brush again to do the tiny little pink cheeks in abandoned coral. So that one, other than his eyes, I really want to go in and do his eyes. But other than that, that is done. So this is just a quick video to show you what you can do now that we left the mask on. And I hope you guys enjoy coloring them. If you're able to, please post some pictures to show us what you're doing with these. We'd love to see. Thanks so much.